Just 2 days after an attempted assassination on U.S. President Donald Trump, the suspect has been formally charged. He is accused of attempted murder of the president. Following the shooting incident on the sidelines of a gala event featuring President Trump in Washington, the suspect is facing charges of attempted murder of the U.S. president. This was announced by the relevant court on Monday during a hearing. As anticipated, 2 additional charges were also filed: the use of a firearm in a violent crime and the assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. The incident unfolded on Saturday evening at the traditional Correspondents' Dinner in the U.S. Capitol. An armed individual reportedly attempted to bypass a security checkpoint. Several shots were fired during the suspect's arrest. The White House on Monday attributed the incident to a hate cult of the left wing. The suspect, appearing before a federal court in Washington, entered neither a guilty nor a not guilty plea. He remains in custody for the time being. The event took place 1 floor above the entrance to the main ballroom at the Washington Hilton Hotel. A Secret Service agent was struck by a bullet on his protective vest during a brief exchange of gunfire. The perpetrator was subsequently overpowered and taken into custody by security personnel. President Trump, his wife, and other government officials were swiftly escorted out of the ballroom, while other guests sought cover under tables and on the floor. Fortunately, no one inside the main hall was injured. According to authorities, the suspect was heavily armed with a rifle, a pistol, and knives. Should the arrested individual be found guilty of attempted murder of President Trump, he faces a potential life sentence. The White House has characterized this incident as the 3rd assassination attempt on President Trump within a span of 2 years. President Trump's spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, stated, "The hate cult of the left wing against the president and all those who support and work for him has already injured and killed several people, and this weekend it almost happened again." President Trump himself is often noted for his remarks, in which he frequently criticizes political opponents, media outlets, judges, and foreign leaders. However, at a press conference held shortly after the incident at the Washington Hotel, the president struck a more conciliatory tone towards the media, whom he has previously labeled as enemies of the people. President Trump has, in fact, survived 2 previous assassination attempts in the past 2 years. In July 2024, a man shot at him during a campaign rally in the U.S. state of Pennsylvania, with the bullet grazing the then presidential candidate's ear. Then, in September 2024, another individual attempted to shoot President Trump while he was playing golf in Florida. That 59-year-old suspect was apprehended and sentenced to life in prison in early February of this year. The Washington Hilton, the traditional venue for the Correspondents' Dinner, has a historical precedent for such attacks. In 1981, a man shot and severely wounded then U.S. President Ronald Reagan outside the very same hotel. President Reagan ultimately survived that assassination attempt. This latest security incident occurred just ahead of the state visit of British King Charles III to Washington. President Trump is scheduled to host King Charles III and Queen Camilla at a state banquet in Washington on Tuesday. On the same day, the monarch is also set to deliver a speech before the U.S. Congress. What's your take on attempted assassination on President Trump? Suspect charged. Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.